All right, here we are continuing on now for Indigenous Heritage Game here today with the Sarnia Sting. And Billy Yurchuk, as promised, join me. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
3-1 right now. I mean, that's not never where we want to see our Sarnia Sting. But, we had to know, Billy, that this is definitely not going to be an easy task with, North Bay's got 3 in a row right now. Yeah. They've got some momentum going, and it's just like that pulley, when you get the momentum going, things go smoothly.
Yeah, and they clinched the playoff spot last night, North Bay did, and now they're just trying to position themselves, right, the higher you can get.
Yeah, Jay and I talked about that. Yeah. So it's not a lot for North Bay to lose here, but they still are trying to get into the right spot of things.
Yeah, that's right. And Sarnia's looking good. Like the efforts with Sarnia, they're getting outplayed. Like North Bay's, I think, a stronger team, but the effort is good, and that's all we can ask for. And we've talked about it before. Deliver 60 minutes of effort, and you'll do your best. And I think so far they've done that. A couple of small mistakes, but for the most part, a lot of good effort, and it's
well, and that's Jay and I talked about that as well. And we've seen Coach Letang many times say, like, we're not naive to the fact of what this team is right now. Right. However, the expectation is still there that you must show up.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
I would agree. I think that there, like you said, there's a couple holes there, obviously. I mean, 2 quick goals almost back-to-back for North Bay against our goalie, Nick Trzaska, right? So who's still, working hard in between the pipes there.
Yeah, both goaltenders. I can't say enough about either one of them. As we said before, we have 2 starting goaltenders, and it doesn't matter which one's in the net, you're going to get a good performance.
Yeah. Some boos coming from the audience or the fans there with that referee calling. We had a breakaway going, like a nice breakaway.
Yeah, it was clear, breakaway.
And what was interesting was and I forget who had the puck. Fisher, right? And he almost slowed down before the referee even called it. Almost like he was like, Yeah,
he saw it.
So it was a fair call, right?
It was a fair call. It's selfish, right? Like, when you're that far away from the puck, you have no business taking a penalty. He obviously got ticked off by whatever the guy did, and he retaliated, get a roughing penalty, and negates a breakaway. So it's just not immature, but it's a young mistake. Yeah. And, you have to tighten that up and be a little more selfless,
Yeah, so.
But
the fans are booing it.
Well,
and
of course.
It was clearly, I don't know. I'm not a referee, but.
No,
a good call. Former ref, he was a good call.
Yeah, it was a good call. Yeah, you just, if the puck was in there, you might not have called it. But since the puck was so far away, there's no business making having a penalty like that, like doing an act like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sadly, a missed opportunity, though, there
breakaway, Fisher,
I would imagine that's a conversation in the locker room right now, maybe?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Fisher come out of the penalty box and, knocked the guy down to get the puck, and he was gone. Like, he was a breakaway. And, I always think Fisher should be a winger, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And so when you see him on a breakaway like that, like, he does have the skill set to put it in the net. So you got to give him that chance, keep away the selfish penalties.
Yeah, I hear you. The LeBlanc brothers here, along with Sanisville Manis, who, of course, formerly the Sarnia Sting. Nice to see a respectful shout-out to them.
Yeah.
Do you think that changes some of the game here today just because they're former Sting players, or if it does, how much did it affect the Sarnia Sting play?
I don't think it does, because if you really think of the Sarnia team, there's not many guys on the team that were on the team last year, because it's a young crowd. So, and, the 3 of them, Little Bonk brothers and Sandus, they're respectful players. They're not guys that are going to be dirty and, and muck it up and give an impact. It might for them, but not necessarily for Sarnia, just because most guys never played with them.
Yeah, because we talked about, how, maybe they know how the Sarnia Sting play because they were here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm sure, coaches and players are going, well, obviously we can't give them what they know, right? That would be. So do you think there's is that part of a strategy out there, do you think? Does the Sting play a little bit differently because they're playing against former teammates, or do they just play what they know?
I think they play what they know, because you try to put, processes in place and systems in place, and you don't want to divert from those systems just because a couple guys are here.
Right.
And, it's a little different than football. Like football, you have a playbook, and they're very specific plays. But in hockey, you're chasing a puck. So with all good plans, you can have a timeout and talk about exactly what you're going to do, and the puck takes one bounce, and it's over.
It's a different direction.
So it's a little different in that way. So you really don't play against or toward that, I don't think, in any way.
Fair enough. Good example, right? I never thought of it that way. Steve was over here, one of our stats guys, 4,000 374 here in
Yeah.
attendance. This is another great example
It
of
is
the Sting
perfect.
fans showing up here.
Yeah, I don't
along
know-
with some North Bay fans.
Yeah,
too.
North Bay guys. Yeah, and I don't know where we are today, but I know a couple of weeks ago we were 7th in Ontario.
Yeah, I think
with
we're like
attendance.
6th now
Yeah,
or
so
something like that.
it's outstanding. You know, and it really, that's the way it should be. Yes, we have a younger team and they're
Yeah.
developing, but I mean, it's nice to get that loyalty. And I just really hope, I think a lot of the season tickets this year were generated from the playoffs last year.
Yes,
and
they
I
were.
just hope that a lot of those people stay.
Continue.
Yeah, continue and allow the rebuild to happen, and then we'll be right back there.
I
you
like
know.
that. Allow the rebuild to happen
Yeah.
because that's where we are right now. Again, no secret that that's what this team is.
Yeah.
And I did this pregame, but I'll do it again. Like, Steve's really good at the stats. We have done so well with our tickets. Like, the two highest is 4,533 and 4,509.
Right.
Lowest ever was like 3,250 and 3,404.
Yeah.
But if you look here, like 34 games last year, 115,131 to 29 games, 115,600. So, like,
Yeah.
that just it is the reminder of the support that this, and not even just, you know, when you say Sting fans, you often think about the people that are here today.
Right.
But this community, even if they're not here, they're rooting for this team.
Yes.
We saw that last year with the signs all over town and everything. And you're right. It's allow this to happen, and it just comes from you know, when you're out on the ice there and you can hear the fans making some noise. There's some drive that puts that into.
Sure, it does. Yeah, of course. You know, they know they're playing for the fans. They know the fans' revenue is what generates the team. Like that's not lost on them. They understand it's a business. So when they get the hype and the noise from the crowd, I do feel that fuels it.
Yeah.
And you know, I was talking to Jamie Gibbons before the game, and he's just a super fan kind of guy, and he's doing the North Bay run.
Oh, yeah.
North Bay, Sudbury, and so forth. We're going to North Bay because we want to see Sandus play at home.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see the fans follow the team, and the team recognizes it. They see the jerseys in the crowd, and you know, it could be a barn full of another team, but you get a little pocket of Sting fans, and I think that invigorates them. And you know, it's just good to see that support.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll see that continue on into next season. You know, I mean, obviously it's interesting right now. There's still some opportunity to get into the playoffs, and that's got to be, you know, on the mind of the player. Is it important that that's on the mind of the player, that we got to get into the playoffs, or is it more important to just go? We just got to play the best we know how?
No, I think at this time of year, you have to be thinking of playoffs. Like you know, when you're in the early days of the season, you just think just keep going 100%.
Yeah.
But now you need a specific goal, and you know, I think it's attainable. It's an uphill battle, but it's definitely attainable.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to shoot for. Yeah, I think so.
Still a lot of teams out there that are in the same boat, though, Billy. Right? You know, they're looking like Ottawa's another one that's really, you know, and it is really an uphill battle. Like we're right down near the bottom overall, right? Yeah. With like, you know, Niagara Ice Dogs and Guelph. Guelph is one that I was like, didn't expect where they are right now.
You're
so,
right.
it's a lot on a young man's mind. To Jay and I talked about a pregame about everything else they got to do, and now here we are. Al Letang has said for a couple of months almost now that, hey, we need to be playing like it's playoff hockey.
Yeah.
And while we haven't seen that every game, obviously, would you say that they've been holding up to that?
I think so. I think they all still feel that the playoffs are an option. Yeah. And Allen is pushing that, and really that's all they have, right?
Yeah.
If you're not shooting for a playoff spot, then sit. Like, don't play.
Right.
Because, you know, that's all that's left. Like, you know, you're not shooting for first place. You're shooting for a playoff spot. Yeah. And then a whole new season starts. So if you don't get there, you're golfing. So, you know, you got to push for it. You know, so you got to push for it. That's the only thing they have left.
Obviously, every team has some superstars. It's, you know, but then there's those young players that, you know, we're seeing quite a few hurt still right now.
Yeah.
Who's a young player that you could look out there and say they're really stepping up as a leader on this team?
Yeah, I really like watching Young and Wilson.
Yeah.
They're both young players, and they've got some pedigree behind them, some Team Canada, stuff.
Yep.
So they're those guys that are stepping up, and actually Doherty's been impressive tonight too. He sometimes shines and other times just blends in, but tonight, especially in the first period, I think he stood up. So I think these guys recognize that they're the team of the future, like next year and so forth. So, and they're trying to set the stage, set the tone. Take on leadership roles.
Yeah.
So, because all of the assistants and captains, except for maybe Wainwright, they're all gone. So, it's not that they're playing for the A or playing for the C, but that leadership and that respect you get from the players, I think, is important.
It's more than just the skill on the ice that is part of it all. Like you said, that leadership. Tyson Doucette, got to give him credit for that goal. And, man, here's a player. I don't think we really knew what to expect from him when he first arrived here, and now he's taken on that. He's one of the stars, I think, right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Or certainly most talked about. You like his style of play?
I do. Yeah, he's probably one of my favorites on the team.
Yeah.
Just because I like his energy, and he's got skills. So you add the energy to the skills, and it's pretty potent. So I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about 4.5 minutes away. Right now, they are. I don't know if you knew this was going on, Billy, but they're looking for the hardest working player of the game, and that's what's happening out on the arena floor right now.
Okay.
So that announcement, I'm sure, will be up on the board. Hey, here's another great thing: $4,722 for the 50-50.
That's a big 50-50. Yeah.
Wow, right, for 43, almost 4,400 people here today.
Yeah,
so
only the end of the first too, so it'll only get bigger.
That's right. I'm going to predict 6,000. There you go.
That's good.
You can go online and buy those as well. Just go to 50-50 Sting tickets, and you'll be able to find it.
Sting Assist.
That's right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, interesting to see what comes out here in the next period, as we've seen, coming from behind here a little bit, but still opportunity for the Sarnia Sting. They obviously know what they were up against, so they've got to tweak a few things. But I still think there's an opportunity here for them to win this game.
Yeah, they're still in the game for sure. 3-1. They come out with hopefully a quick goal, and it just changes the tone for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have post-game press conference, of course, as always, live in the restaurant. We'll hope you'll join us for that. Connor Burke will be back here to fill in. Lee Baisley's in Disneyland or something like that.
Yeah.
So with his wife and son. So shout out to them as well. Billy, thanks for coming and stepping in. And we'll be back to see you. Once again, Connor Burke joining us for second period intermission. Hopefully some positive results here for you. And once again, post-game press conference after this afternoon's Indigenous Heritage game. Live with the Sarnia Sting, I'm David Burrows and my friend Billy Yurchuk. 1, 2, 3.
Go Sting, go!